Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing really well. So we are doing some gelx extensions today with French tip using like earthy colours. That's what my client wanted. So she did go ahead and choose the earthy colours for the French tips. As you can see, she has extremely bitten nails and she says that they are quite sore around the cuticles. Not like really sore, but she said that she bleeds extremely easily, so I did have to go really careful when cutting her cuticles quick because she did have a lot stuck to her nail plate. So I pushed those all back. I was gentle. I hope this position of this recording is a bit better than last time. I have literally moved it around over 10 times trying to get the best angle I possibly could to record. So I'm using I need to get a new one of these actually. I think is not as strong anymore. It's a bit blunt now. So I'm just using a cuticle drill bit, and I have only got this on a speed at 2 just because I was very cautious of making her bleed. And I love when clients come and their cuticles are a bit messed up because I really like the look of what I've done after, of like removing the cuticles and all the dead skin, and there's just a massive difference. So I always go down the left side of the nail first, and then once I've done all the nails, I then go down the right hand side. I always do this. I never do one nail at a time. I always just do it like this. I just find it a bit more quicker, and I am doing this really gently because I do end up catching her, not with this, but when I remove her cuticles. I don't use nippers, I use scissors, just because I find that nippers aren't that precise. The amount of times I've accidentally caught the proximal nail fold by accident with nippers, I just don't trust myself with those. So I do prefer to use cuticle scissors. But yeah, as you can see, I'm going down the right hand side of the nails. Please let me know if this angle is better for you guys. I kept like trying to talk to my client and trying to keep an eye on the recording to make sure you guys were in frame. So I think I might have it as best as I can get it. This is the same recording as set up as, I don't know, another YouTuber that I've seen, and her videos always look really good, so I'm hoping this is why I bought this recording setup, because that's what she uses. So fingers crossed I finally figured it out. But these are my cuticle scissors. Freaking love them. I love them. They're really good. Just got them off Amazon, believe it or not, but I love how pointy and sharp they are. They're only about a week old, so they are very sharp. So I'm just cutting off the tiniest bit of cuticle because I don't want to get the proximal nail fold. You know, you still need something there to protect that so you don't get infections. But I do end up catching her, unfortunately. As you can see there, literally she had a hangnail and I was cutting it off. And she did say that she'd already pulled it a couple of days ago and it did bleed. So I think it was, I don't think it was actually me fully. I think it was just where it was already sensitive from where she's been picking at the hangnail. Yeah, so I am just cutting all the cuticles off, and when I say just a little bit, it is just a little bit. I'm not cutting, you know, everything off because I don't want to risk any infection, because she does have very sore cuticles. She came to me because she found me on my social media and she was going to like more of a health kind of place that does nails in a way of they don't touch the cuticles, they don't even use an e-file, because they said that it's really bad for your nails. Now, this e-file bit that I'm using is exactly the same course, it's 240 grit as a hand file, so I don't understand why this place is saying, you know, the e-files are really bad when it's the same grit. As long as you're using the same grit and you're not using anything that's really harsh, it's absolutely fine. And her gel polish kept chipping off. So she's come to me for extensions, but her gel polish she said she had it done, and then within 2 days it was off. Like it was just wasn't even the fact that it was chipping off. She said it was coming off in one whole piece. Obviously that's down to prep not being done properly. So I'm using my 240 grit sanding band. I have just ordered some more. I love these apps, and they're perfect for people with tiny little nails and short bitten nails. So yeah, 240 grit all over the natural nails. Again, I am doing it quite soft. I was really, really worried about making her bleed, because she has said that it's not the fact that she's sensitive, but she said that from where she picks her cuticles and she pulls hangnails and all sorts, she said she bleeds extremely easily. So when I caught her finger, I was like, I'm so sorry. And there I am wiping it over, just to get rid. That's not blood on that, by the way. That is just a bit of, we've already done her other hand. So it's just a tiny bit of gel polish from where I was wiping my nail art brush. But yeah, I'm just trying to get rid of the blood off of her actual nail. I need some of that stuff that you can put on that stops bleeding that a lot of nail techs use, but I don't know what it's called. So if anybody has any suggestions, leave a comment. That would be absolutely fantastic, and then I can just go and buy it. So it was acetone I used. I have got alcohol rub, but I was like, I'm not using that. That's going to sting even more, I think. So yeah, she didn't even feel it though. She just said that that's just what happens. She just bleeds so easily around her nails. So I'm using dehydrator. I use Model 1's dehydrator and primer. My go-to, absolutely love it. I love their primer because it is sticky, and that's why I like it. Look at that. Look at those nails though. That's when you know your nail prep has been good, when the dehydrator dehydrates, you know. So there I am doing the primer, and then I size up her nails with some full cover gel tips. So they're not plastic. Gelx, I never use plastic. I always use ones that are gel. You know, you don't want to be using plastic because they'll just crack and all sorts, and you know, there's not the best things to use. So yeah, there they are. I need to get some more. I keep saying that, but I have actually got about 5 boxes. So I'm just sizing up her nails sidewall to sidewall, making sure they fully fit. If they were too big, but the next size down was way too small, I would then use the bigger one and just file the sides off slightly. You always want to use one that is slightly bigger than one that is too small, and you have to force it to push it down to make it fit, because that is going to cause your client a lot of pain. It's going to pinch their nail bed. They're going to have bruises, and yeah, it's not going to be very comfortable for them. So yeah, I'm just checking sidewall to sidewall. These are, as you just see there, soft gel tips, and these are medium almond. She wants square. I have got square ones, but I don't even use my square ones anymore. I always use an almond or more like a coffin. So then when I cut them down, they're tapered inwards. So whereas if I use my actual square and then I cut them down, I'm going to have to use the file to taper them in quite a lot, because when you're adding, I always add builder gel, 2 layers of gel polish, you know, then you've got the French tip, then you've got the top coat, it makes them wider. So yeah, I am just etching the inside of the nails. These don't come pre-etched, so I'm just etching the inside just to give it that extra adhesion, so there's that extra hold. And I did tell my client, luckily she wanted her nails short anyway, and because her natural nails are already short, you can only go, so the length of her nails, her natural nail plus 1, that's the maximum length you can go. Because if she said, oh, I want the length that they already are, you know, those false nails, I want that length, I don't want them cut down, I wouldn't be able to do that, because her natural nail isn't going to be long enough to support a really long fake extension. I really hope that makes sense. So I am using glue gel for actual like gelx extensions. So yeah, so I'm using glue gel to put the tips on. It is actually for gelx type extensions as well. You can use builder gel as well, I've recently learned, which I didn't know you could do that, but I don't think I would, just in case they didn't last that long. So I'm just flash curing. So when I put the gel on, you need the tiniest amount. And you want it just to go to the free edge of your client's natural nails. You don't want it going way further down because it's going to stick to the skin, and you know it can make them, you've got a higher risk of them, you know, getting an allergy, contact dermatitis, all that sort of stuff. So just to the free edge. So as you can see, I have only got a little bit on there, and when I say a little bit, it is a little bit. It's not much at all. So I always go to the cuticle and then I push that nail down. Well, bring it down. I don't force it down. I bring it down until that gel is at the free edge. You will get used to how much gel to use. When I first started, let me tell you, I used way too much. I had so much cleaning up to do after. It was a hot mess. Honestly, it took me ages to file off all that gel that was underneath the nail. Yeah, so I am doing a flash cure just to hold them in place, you know, while I do the rest of the nails. And then I go in and do a full cure in my Kirsty Meeking LED light. I cure that for 60 seconds. I absolutely love my LED light, my Kirsty Meeking lamp. It's amazing. It's the best one I've ever bought. And when it's on, when the nails are in, it's like bright pink. It's amazing. Yeah, so I cure that. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I think it's the worst thing for me is doing the thumbs, because your client has to tip their hand on the side, and when they've not had gel extensions before, like, well, gelx extensions, they tense up. So my client was like really tensing her thumb up, and I was like, oh, please relax your thumb. Yeah, so it's really hard if they don't relax, because you can't get that gel where it needs to go. So there I am curing, and then I do a full cure, 60 seconds. So those have been fully cured. I snipped them down to the length that she wanted, which I wouldn't have been able to go any longer. Don't get me wrong, if they're absolutely adamant that they want long nails, I will do it, but I will explain to them, you know, if you bang them, it's going to be quite painful because your natural nails are so short, but then you've got like triple the length of extension on there. So I will have to, obviously I always explain that to them anyway. But yeah, I always go down the sides of the nail just to, you know, crispen them up a little bit after I've just snipped them down. And then I go along the free edge as well to crispen it up. I always crispen up the free edge after, which is called a finish file, because it helps seal in that gel polish as well. So it doesn't like ping off or anything like that. Not that it should do, but I always do that. So yeah, just crisping everything up. And I always use a bit of, I use a file, which is a red, well, drill bit, shall I say, not really a file. A red drill bit to go round the cuticles, just to make sure it's all sealed in nicely. I try and do that really gently on her, because honestly, I was like petrified I was going to make her bleed. When I say like her skin around her cuticle was so soft, it wasn't like hard or anything, but you could just tell that the slightest bit, you know, she'd bleed. So yeah, that's my drill bit. So it is a fine drill bit. You can use extra fine, but my extra fine drill bit is absolutely rubbish. It doesn't do anything. So yeah, I always see how careful I'm going. She had like a bit of gel there as well that overleaked. So I do this on every single nail, which you probably don't even need to see all this, but as you can see, I do it on every single nail, going down the sides. And then I use a little bit of acetone as well afterwards, which a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't do that. And other people say it's really good because it melts the tip, which is what I do. So afterwards, I use a little bit of acetone to go around the cuticle to kind of melt that cuticle bit of that fake tip in. So do you know what I mean? It just helps it blend more. I always do that. Never had any issues with it. A lot of people say you shouldn't do that. That's how you get lifting and, but I've not had any issues. There's lots of people always saying you shouldn't do that, and other people say, oh, I do that, it's really good. I just do what works for me, and I haven't had any problems with that at all. So there I am doing that. I will let you watch the rest. So I buffed over the whole nail, and I also went in with Model 1's Builder Gel. I have loads of different Builder Gels, and I always just go for Model 1's. So I don't actually build anything up with the Model 1's Builder Gel. I just put it on like a base coat, but the reason why I use it is because it just adds that extra strength. I've always done that. I just prefer to do that. And then I'm using this gorgeous natural pink. I can't even remember what brand it is. I have loads of different gel polishes. I'm trying to stick to 2 different brands, but I've got about 30 different other brands as well in a box. So anyway, so I can't remember what brand this was. We had loads of different colours out. So I do 1 coat, putting it on nice and thinly. I've noticed when doing like a sheer kind of natural pinky base, the thinner the better. Otherwise, it kind of looks like there's like lumps at the end. Like a lot of the gel polish will pull to the free edge, and then it looks like there's a lump on there. So this is why I always go over to wipe it from where those nails have been hanging down for a minute. I always go over and quickly wipe to make sure there's no lumps under there. I do 2 coats of this. Didn't need to do 3. We wanted it to be kind of natural sheer. And then we do the French tip as well on the end. So yeah, I do 2 coats of this, and then on the final coat I cure for 60 seconds. So the first coat I cured for 30 seconds. Didn't need a long cure because it is really sheer. And then the second coat was 60 seconds, and then I wipe over the nails. Now, I am getting really fed up of why my top coat isn't shiny. I have bought about 10 different top coats, shiny top coats, and I'm getting really fed up as to I'm curing them fully. I'm not touching them afterwards for like 1 to 2 minutes to let the nails cool down. I've tried Blue Sky top coat, Glitterbell's top coat, and they all just seem, if I touch it, it's like normally it should stay shiny, but it just completely gets rid of the shine. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So this time I wiped the inhibition layer off before I went in with my top coat, just to see if that helps. I've even cured my top coat for a full 2 minutes before, thinking maybe it could be that. I literally don't know what's going on. But then again, when I put oil on the nails, I don't know if I'm, maybe catching a little bit on the nail itself. Well, not the nails, but where I'm putting oil on the cuticles, I think I could be catching a little bit of the oil on the actual nail. And I know oil will kind of dull the shine until they wash their hands and it'll come off. So that could be the issue as well. Maybe I'm just using way too much oil and it's just kind of going on the nail. from where I rub it in with my gloves, which I do. I put it on their cuticle, and because it's a dropper oil, I use my fingers to rub right around the nail. So it could be where I'm just touching a bit of the nail as well. The brush I'm using is Casey Payne, by the way. I think it's called Big Boy or something. Where is it? Sturdy Boy 15mm. My go-to brush. She is on TikTok and she has a website as well. So you just type in Casey Payne. I use this for everything. I use it for hand-drawn characters. Like, I love this brush. Absolutely love it. These were kind of the earthy colours that she wanted. We did mix that green with a little bit of black just because it was a bit more, it was a bit too light and she wanted it to have a bit more of a grey undertone. So we did mix that colour together. So yeah, I love doing French tips. I used to be absolutely terrible at French tips. They just weren't, you know, they were Spanish, okay? They weren't French, let me tell you. They were terrible. They were really high up. They were like 90s French. They weren't good. So I cured the French for 60 seconds, just because there was, some of those colours are quite pigmented, like the blue and the deep red. So I cured them for 60 seconds. You don't want to be under curing because, you know, your client can get contact dermatitis and the gel polish is all going to peel off. It's going to be wet underneath. Yeah, you don't want to be doing that. So I cured that first layer of this top, well, not top, well, top gel, whatever you want to call it, that pink colour. I cured that for 30 seconds and then I cure the second one for 60 seconds. Now, these nails did look bloody brilliant, let me tell you. As you can see by the thumbnail, they looked gorgeous, and that is actually what they look like in real life. But when it comes to me recording and at the end and trying to show you the finished look, I don't think they look as good as what they do. They don't look as good as what they do in real life. I don't know if it's the angle or what's going on. But yeah, the photo on my thumbnail is what they look like in real life. Absolutely love them. Yeah, so this is this blue. Oh my god, I love this blue. I actually want a blue and gold set of nails myself. A lot of these gel polishes are actually brand new. So I top coat and then I file. I know that's weird, but I've always done that. A lot of people will quickly file, you know, to get it crisp again and then top coat. I don't like doing that because the top coat is just going to add bulk again. So I always file after I've top coated, which is what you should do anyway, because it's called a finish file, and that way it seals everything in. That's how I was taught anyway. I know there's so many different ways to be taught, and it works for me doing it like that. I don't file to the point that I'm taking off colour, you know, like I'm taking part of the French tip off. I just file enough just to crispen it up. Yeah, so I'm using, this top coat is a new one again. It's Blue Sky. Never used Blue Sky before. I wasn't sure whether it was good or not because a lot of people say it's brilliant. And then a lot of people say that it's really bad for like allergies. I don't have any of their gel polishes. I just literally bought some of their builder gels and a top coat because I wanted to try the top coat because I've heard it is really good. Like, look at that shine. Look at that shine. Like, amazing. And here I am accidentally, I mean, these nails have been sat probably for about 30 seconds. I should have let them sit for a minute before I filed. Yeah, so not my finest moment, and I need to start using a lint-free wipe, a dry one, on top of the nails. Then when I file, I'm not touching the actual nail, especially when I'm doing the free edge, because I hold the nail when I'm doing the free edge. So I'm just crisping it back up. There we go. I do it on this just for the free edge. And this, I do this so I don't take the shine off of the natural nail, because I didn't exactly leave it for a whole minute when it had finished curing, which you should do because it's still warm. So you should let it cool down. Yeah, so I keep forgetting, to be honest. And I didn't even think of using a lint-free wipe. I seen it on TikTok and I was like, genius idea. That's how slow I am. I don't think of things like that. Now, my client has actually cut her whole face before with extensions when she used to get acrylics for like a year, for over a year, to stop her biting her nails. when I say she's cut her face, she actually cut her face. They were that sharp underneath. She had a line from the top of her head all the way down to the chin, to the point that it was actually bleeding. Not like a scratch, like she actually cut her whole face. And it scabbed all over. She said she's never, like, they were so sharp underneath. So she wanted a square. Actually, I'm not going to lie, she wanted them like rounded, but I don't like rounded nails. It's as simple as that. I think they're ugly. I don't like them. I don't like rounded square. So what I do is, I always do this, by the way, just to make them look nice and crisp underneath. I use my buffer to get under the nail to get those sharp bits off. I always do that. As you can see here, I'm using the harsh side as well of my buffer to get those sharp bits off, I suppose, like, I don't know, so they're not sharp, basically, dull them, I suppose, but I don't want them to be rounded. I know that sounds really bad. If somebody wants rounded square, they should be able to get that, but I don't like them, and I won't take a picture of round once I've done them, and it's because I cannot stand that shape. It doesn't look like a natural shape, and it looks like that you haven't done a good job with rounded square, or it could just be me. It might just be me that I'm not very good at doing it. You never know. So here I am putting the oil on, and as you can see, I rub it all in, but I do have a habit of accidentally catching the nails, and I think that see, there I am touching the nails again. You know, I have sped this up as well, by the way. I can't help it. I mean, what else can I do? Like, the shine does come back when they wash their hands afterwards. Maybe I should just start getting them to wash their hands and not put any oil on. Might be a bit easier. But yeah, that's how I do my gelx extensions. I am so used to doing them now. It's like second nature to me. You do see what the nails look like here. Honestly, in real life, they look absolutely stunning. I love them. And that's the thumb there. And they're not sharp underneath. I did get her to check and she loved them. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!